Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Advice to Think Twice. My name is Monica and I'm here today with another video for our tarot tutorials, the basics of tarot. And today we're going to talk about court cards. Alright, they can be a little tricky, especially when you're getting started. Excuse me, most people know how to read them as people, but then when you have to look at it in terms of energy and what they represent, it can get tricky. So we're just going to talk about them a little bit. I won't go too far in detail. I'll save that for the second part or the following part, I would say, of the tutorials. I'm going to do like a next level and then get more into details with each card and how to tie them together and what they're talking about and so on and so forth. But for the basics of tarot, we're just going to cover the meanings, what they could mean in a reading in terms of if they're a person, if they're energy, if they're meant as advice, and so on and so forth. Okay, so court cards. Court cards are the people cards in the tarot deck, and of course this is just looking at the minor arcana. There are really no court cards in the major arcana, so just to make that distinction. And you have pages. Okay, you have one page in each suit. Okay, Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and Page of Swords. And again, I'm just going to hold them up and talk about them in more detail in just a second. You have Knights, the next level from the pages, as it were. You have Queens, the mothers of the deck, but not only. And then you have the Kings as the last card in each suit. Okay, which can be an indication of, top level, ultimate level, and so on and so forth. So let's just get started. Okay, let's start with our beautiful pages. Now, in terms of energy, pages, all pages represent new energy, fresh energy, ideas, communication. They can represent children, okay, or people who are younger. A lot of the times you'll hear people say that pages represent children, though. But yeah, okay, so we have young, fresh, new, in terms of keywords, maybe children, ideas, messages, communication, all right? The Knights, we go from the communication to actually doing something with it. So the Knights represent action. They represent change, usually fast, okay, paced energy, and ultimately just change. Things are moving, okay, movement, change. And of course we can translate that into a bunch of other different scenarios to mean travel, relocation, and so on and so forth, which again we're going to talk about in just a minute. Queens, very briefly. Queens are nurturing energy, feminine energy, again, the mothers of the deck. In terms of if they wanted to achieve something, they take their time, they plan it out, they nurture it, they know how to nurture it, they know things take time to develop, they're okay with that. They're very attentive, very sensitive. Okay, and then we have the Kings. The Kings are ultimate level, okay? They represent ultimate achievement, maturity, stability, fulfillment, okay, reaching the top of whatever it is you're trying to achieve, okay, mastering that. And of course it's masculine energy. So let's start with pages. To get a little bit into detail, all right, with the pages. First up we have the Page of Cups. So in terms of some keywords for the Page of Cups, it can indicate a loving message, an invitation to go out on a date with someone, okay? It's communication that appeals to your emotions. It's communication that triggers your emotions, your emotional side. So oftentimes we do see this translated into some sort of romantic situation, okay? So someone asking you out on a date, someone paying you a compliment. There's also a form of a loving message, as it were. It could also be an apology, all right? Someone is offering something genuine, something sensitive, something loving. Yeah. This is also very artistic energy. If they did represent a person, they would be potentially a water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. It would be someone who is a little bit younger, either younger than yourself, younger than, the person you're reading for, or someone who's just immature, emotionally especially, okay? A little bit naive, can get carried away quite easily, okay? Someone who likes the story behind everything, someone who appreciates beauty and the arts, okay? But like I say, they can be a little bit naive. Ultimately, they are genuine, they are honest, they wear their heart on their sleeves, okay, type of energy. Okay. In terms of a work situation, this can even be, a work offer, a job offer, or a partnership, a conversation about a partnership. Okay, this would be the initial stage, the conversation, the maybe even the interview where you talk to someone, okay, where you discuss something, but it makes you very happy, or it triggers your artistic side, okay, or it's in an artistic field, okay, something like that. In terms of advice, this encourages us to be honest, to just wear our hearts on our sleeve, to say what we have to say, to be not be afraid to be vulnerable, and just put our heart on the table and just be honest, okay, and vulnerable. And of course, if for example it would show up in reverse, then that can talk about being naive. It can talk about being tricked, someone putting up a front, telling us a story because they know it would impress us, okay? Someone who's manipulating our emotions, someone who's very immature emotionally. So that's the kind of energy that the Page of Cups can talk about in reverse. And of course, with a love reading, it can again be compliments, invitations, to go out on a date, loving messages, okay, usually face to face with the Page of Cups, or over the phone, let's say. The Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is a little bit more down to earth energy, okay? It is Pentacles. He's more grounded. For a page, I would say he's probably the most mature of the pages, okay? So as mature as a page can be. This can talk about details, the importance of details, research, school, education, okay, study. In terms of job, of course, it can talk about a job opportunity. Again, interview, it can be in a realm that has to do with money, that has to do with real estate, that has to do with education, that has to do with things you produce, things you manufacture, okay? It's looking closely at something because, again, it's in its infancy, so it needs to be defined potentially. So it's looking at the details of things, learning more about that particular situation or person, whatever the case may be. If this is a person, it would most likely indicate an earth sign, individual, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. As always, I recommend not getting lost in the zodiac representations of a card because we don't really know what's going on in someone's chart. So if, for example, I'm a Pisces sun, I might show up as the Queen of Cups in a reading, but I might also show up as the Queen of Pentacles because of my Virgo moon. You know what I mean? So it's just different, and it depends on the situation. But yes, typically this would talk about an earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. In terms of job opportunities, work situations, it's a conversation around money, conversation around work offers, a conversation around what can I do, what can I study, what kind of training or degrees do I need, okay? This can represent a student as well. Again, it's younger energy. But whatever the offer is coming in with the Page of Pentacles, it is something that is solid. It is something that if you take it and you nurture it to develop it properly, it pretty much guarantees success, okay? Because it is something that is thought out, that is planned, that is concrete, okay, that you can rely on, all right? Then we have the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, in terms of energy, this is inspiration, this is creativity. The Page of Wands likes to try new things, likes to have different unique type of experience or experiences. This can again indicate an invitation to travel, an invitation to pursue something creative, something interesting, something different, okay? Something exciting. This can indicate excitement as well. This can be flirting energy in terms of love, okay? Messaging, texting, messaging, emailing, usually online communication with the Page of Wands. But yeah, it's something that it's different, it's unique, it's creative, it's exciting, okay? It can be, again, in the realm of work, where it's a job opportunity. It can be in the realm of being invited to do something fun, to do something different, to get to know another person. It can be an invitation to travel or a conversation about traveling with this energy. Okay, so in terms of advice, this would ask us to be creative, to try something different, to think outside the box, as it were. And I'm not going to focus too much on the reversals, because I'm going to do a separate video on reversals, talking about reversals and so on. But, you know, if you want to read reversals as the opposite of the energy upright, you can do. Again, I think I should just save it for the reversals video, okay? But yeah, this is very unconventional thinking. It can also talk about someone who's impulsive with this as well. And then we have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is clear-cut communication, sticking to the facts, zero emotion in there, okay? As a result, those messages can be received, they can be perceived as difficult, they can be perceived as negative, okay, because they just come in so bluntly. All right, there's a way to say things, but when it comes to the Page of Swords, there's a lack of tact oftentimes, okay? Something that is just blurted out, not necessarily that it's not true, but it's too blunt, okay? It's put in a way that has zero compassion in the delivery, okay? Which is why sometimes the Page of Swords can talk about arguments or anything like that, okay? The Page of Swords can indicate research. He's very inquisitive. He likes to know how things work. He likes to know his stuff. He likes to know about what he's getting himself into. He is the type of person that would keep appraised with what's going on in the world, what's going on in science, what kind of discoveries are being made, okay? The type of person who likes to play games, especially strategic or mind games, depends. It can be, again, online research, which again can talk about you know, where you look into someone on social media. Sometimes people say this is the spying card, okay? He gets a bad rap because he's just tactless at times. But yeah, with him, for example, with this as advice, it can be advice to put emotion aside and just stick to the facts. Okay, it just depends on the situation. Sometimes that's a good thing. It can be a situation where we have to not allow our emotions to be triggered when we're having a conversation. Can be that. It can sometimes represent holding back until you have more information in terms of advice. In terms of people, it usually indicates an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius. And again, slightly immature energy. Someone who's a little bit younger, okay, in terms of years, or young at heart, or again just immature, and that could be what the Page of Swords represents in short. Okay, then we have the Knights. So again, these are our change bringers. It's our travel, it's our movement, okay? So in terms of the Knight of Cups, can indicate a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This is an offer, okay, that comes after a conversation. So it's a little bit more, if I can say more concrete, you can't say more concrete, but you know what I mean? So it's not a conversation, it's the result of that. It's an action, all right? So it can be a proposal of sorts, an offer of a gift, an offer of a concrete opportunity, okay? A physical, material gift, okay, with this energy. Again, it would be something that triggers our emotions or that makes us very happy, all right? It's an offering that brings happiness. It's an offering that brings emotional fulfillment, or it can do, okay? It's potential. We're still at the stage of potential. So in terms of love, yes, it can be a proposal. Yes, it can be someone showing us affection, you know, doing nice things, romantic things, okay, in particular with the Knight of Cups. It can talk about taking a romantic trip, okay, some sort of romantic getaway with this energy, marriage proposals, and so on and so forth. If this is in terms of work, it's the same thing. It's still a proposal. It's still an offer. It just makes us very happy. It could be our dream job, our dream career, or again, it's something in the realm of the arts, something artistic, okay, or something we've always dreamed and wished to do. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, with the Knight of Pentacles, he is the slowest moving of the knights. However, he is probably the only knight who will guaranteed reach his goal. Okay, it's a guarantee, it's a certainty, you can bet on it. Why? Because he is meticulous. He thinks things through. It takes him a while to get started, but once he does start, you can be sure that he has a plan. He has a solution for every eventuality. Nothing will stop him once he sets his eye on the prize and he figures out how he's going to get there. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles was thinking, you know, assessing, looking at things, and the Knight of Pentacles is like, okay, this is my plan, this is my direction. No matter what happens, I'm sticking to the plan. He does not cut corners. He does not rush. He does not leave things unfinished. He's a perfectionist, okay? Earth sign energy, so Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. So he moves slowly, but you can be sure he reaches his goal. In terms of advice, this can talk about slow it down, pay attention to the work, do it properly, don't cut corners, don't skip steps, stick to the plan. Now is not the time to change plans. Now is not the time to go freestyling things, okay? So in terms of advice, that can be that. To plan ahead, to be strategic. Again, in terms of energy, this is slow but steady. It can be a slow but solid development, okay, or you're moving in a really good direction. It does talk about hard work, okay? Hard work is needed to get there, and perseverance, all right? What else did I say? Okay, so in terms of job opportunity, in terms of work, career, money, okay, let's just put it that way. It's a very solid offer. It's a very concrete offer. Now with knights, they can indicate travel, movement, so it can be, you know, depending on what other cards you have, that this is a job that comes with perks, like a car or something like that, or you have to travel for this job, or it's a job to do with money, banking, again, real estate, education, or teaching, okay, teaching people how to work with something, teaching people how to make plans, how to make presentations, that sort of thing, okay? This is money coming in, all right? This is improvement and growth and expansion with finances. That can also talk about this, but it does talk about that. It does say a lot of work will need to be put into this, and you need to be consistent, okay? And you will be successful no matter what this is about. Now, when it comes to love, the Knight of Pentacles can be a little bit of a tricky energy when it comes to love, because he's not as out there and forward and romantic, and, you know, comfortable with his feelings as the Knight of Cups, for example. Same thing, he takes his time, okay? He assesses someone, he takes his time, he observes before he makes up his mind. as to whether or not he's going to move forward to that person, towards that person. He's going to, if he's going to take action, okay, concerning that person. So oftentimes they can seem like they're not interested, okay? When we're looking at a person who embodies the Knight of Pentacles energy in a love situation, they can seem uninterested because they're reading you. They haven't decided if they're interested or not, you know? And they like to take their time. Usually, for most people, it's like, yeah, I like that person. I'm going to let them know, or I'm going to show them somewhere or another. I'm going to flirt or whatever. The Knight of Pentacles really takes his time. So oftentimes he does look like he's holding back his emotions. He does look like he's not interested. He does look like he's a lot of work, you know, to get to. Which again, it may not necessarily be true. It just depends on the context. Of course, in reverse, it can talk about, you know, things speeding up, things not being within control, things going haywire, okay, that kind of energy. And again, if it's a person, I think we talked about it, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. And again, someone who's meticulous, likes to take their time, likes to study things, likes to have a plan, can seem stubborn, can be resistant to change. With the Knight of Wands, this is fast energy, okay? The Knight of Wands gets a bit of a bad rep in terms of love life, for example, because he's always called the player. He's the player. But don't get me wrong, it just depends. If he comes up in reverse, or if he comes up with other cards that lets you know that he's a player, absolutely. But the Knight of Wands is someone who they cannot settle down, okay? They're just not in that energy. They're constantly inspired. They're constantly on the lookout for the next thing, the next experience, the next interesting place, person, situation, okay? So they do go from one place to another. They do move around quite a bit, okay? And in terms of love, he can be a very passionate individual, but the advice, if this is in a love situation, the advice is don't make any long-term plans with this person, because most likely he's not going to stick around, because again, he's either, again, depends on the other cards, he may be doing that intentionally, but most likely it's that he's just on the move, okay? He's in a phase in his life where he's searching. He wants to experience different things. He wants to experience different places, different cultures, okay? He likes whatever it is from very different from himself or herself, okay? So foreign places, foreign land, travel. That's why you have the pyramids there, okay? Travel, going from place to place, new experiences, okay? That's what the Knight of Wands represents. In terms of work, career, this can talk about advancement, okay? So it usually talks about a promotion. It can talk about a change in job because you just want something else. You want something different. It can indicate something where you have to travel. It can indicate something where it's a lot of online work, and that's how you travel around the world, as it were, okay? But he can be impulsive. He does not really think things through. He just gets an idea, it feels so right to him, and he just goes for it, okay? Which oftentimes can get him into trouble, all right? Or it can get him to kind of abandon plans, you know what I mean? In terms of love, we've discussed that. Job, we've discussed that. In terms of advice, the Knight of Wands tells you to try something different, to take a different approach. It definitely tells you to take action within a situation, to take control of it and take it where you want it to go. It can also indicate that it's time to take action. Maybe you've been thinking for too long. Maybe you've been planning for too long. It's just time to go. It's just time to take action. It can say that you don't have to have it all figured out. If it's, again, in terms of advice, that it's important to take the first step at least. It's important to take some sort of action with this situation. Yeah, and again, it's fast-paced energy, okay? Very fast, because he's so impulsive and he just wants to go, go, go. So again, travel, relocation, job change is usually what you're going to hear with the Knight of Wands, or that he's a player, okay? Which again, sometimes is true, sometimes not necessarily. The Knight of Swords. Okay, the Knight of Swords, he's a fast-paced energy as well. The Knight of Swords can be a little difficult because, again, he doesn't have a lot of consideration for people's feelings. So he takes the bluntness of the Page of Swords and he does something with it. Okay, so he takes it further. He's the type of person, or she, Usually pages are seen as girls, and knights are seen as masculine energy, you know what I mean? But it just depends. Don't get stuck on that. But yeah, the Knight of Swords sees what he wants, and he is just focused, and he is determined. He does not stop until he gets what he wants. And unfortunately, he doesn't care if he has to step on some toes along the way. What you're going to hear with the Knight of Swords is, if you see him come your way, get out of the way. Okay, you won't be able to stop him. You won't be able to talk him out of whatever he's doing or planning to do. He can be a bit of a difficult energy to deal with because, again, he just doesn't want to hear it, doesn't care. He's very much focused. He thinks, not necessarily that he thinks he knows what he wants. He does know what he wants. He may not have thought it through, but in his mind, this is, I don't need to think it through. I know that's what I want. The quickest way is from A to B. That's what I'm doing. Get out of my way. I don't care. All right. So it's that kind of energy. So a little bit on the harsh side with the Knight of Swords. So oftentimes it can indicate some sort of turmoil, some sort of conflict, some sort of argument. Okay. I mean, even looking at the card, he's just going into battle. He doesn't care. He's by himself, and he doesn't care. He doesn't look around to see what other people are doing. He doesn't look around to see if people approve or don't approve of what he's doing. He just genuinely, he's got his eye fixated on the prize, and he's like a tank, like a tank, okay, like a very fast moving tank. All right. So he is direct. Okay. Again, can be quite blunt with this energy as well. Focused, determined, that's the positive side of him if you want to see it. He can be prone to cutting corners. He can be prone to, because again, he cares what is the quickest way. That's the only thing he cares about, okay? What's the quickest thing? Quickest way, quickest path, fastest path. He just wants to get there, all right? He's not someone to plan it out. He's not someone to take it easy. He's not someone to give it time. He doesn't know the meaning of the word no. And if it's attitude wise, if it's advice wise, awesome. It tells you just go for it. It tells you don't care about what other people are saying, if they're with you or not. You know what you want, you go for it. Don't take no for an answer. Don't negotiate. Don't settle. You'll get what you want through sheer determination and focus, okay? And not backing down. So of course, that can also say, but be prepared for some conflicts, be prepared for some fights, because that kind of attitude is not going to be well received all the time, all right? In terms of work, this can be a fast progression, a fast ascension. It can be a situation where you have to fight for it, literally. In terms of love, it can be conflict, I'm not going to lie. Or it can be very fast-moving energy. It can just be, you know, someone's just going to very quickly and unexpectedly sweep you off your feet. It may be someone you have a mental connection with, okay, an intellectual connection with. In terms of people, again, air sign energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It can be any sort of dispute or travel issues or hiccups, obstacles you have to push through, okay? It can herald that type of energy as well. But ultimately, it's very fast-moving energy, okay? Moving in or moving out, but very fast-moving. Okay, then we have the Queens. Now, all Queens can indicate a mother figure, and people read them differently, okay? In reading, some readers read Queens as obviously women and Kings as men, and that's it. Along the years, from experience, I've learned that it's not always the case, but let's, not get confused, and let's not complicate things at this stage anyway. We're going to look at the Queens as female, feminine energy, the mothers of the deck, okay? And for example, the Queen of Cups, what you're going to hear with the Queen of Cups is she's very intuitive. She may have very intense dreams, very connected to her spiritual side. It can talk about a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces individual. It can talk about love, okay, in terms of energy. This can be love, this can be forgiveness, it can be very nurturing energy, you know, the type of person who expresses love through hugs and kind words and patience and unconditional love. Okay, that's the energy of the Queen of Cups. In terms of a work situation, the Queen of Cups can be a leader or a manager who nurtures their employees, who develops a personal connection to them, not just, you know, keeping things professional. She can have a very kind of mothering energy, even though she's a boss figure. She cares very much for her people. She will protect her people. Professionally, this can indicate someone who's an intermediary, who puts people in touch with other people. She's very much a people person, works with people, through people, for people. Okay, emotional connections. So someone in HR, or someone who stands up for people, someone who does pro bono work, someone who does charity work. Okay, that kind of energy, that kind of person. And again, we have very genuine, very calm, very nurturing, honest, loving energy. All right. In a love reading, it can talk about unconditional love. As general advice, it can talk about being open, being patient, accepting someone, embracing someone. Okay, just unconditional love is the way forward. It can also indicate trying to work with other people, or trying to ask for help or for support with this energy as well. Queen of Pentacles. Okay, she is also a very nurturing energy. She's definitely a mother figure. Her life is her family and her home, unless she chooses to be a businesswoman. Basically, the Queen of Pentacles, she can be whatever she wants to be, because whatever she takes and invests in and nurtures, she plans ahead with it. Okay, this is an energy of making plans, solid plans, long-term plans. Okay, she knows that work's going to go into it. She knows it's going to take time. She's prepared. Okay, but yeah, usually people say the Queen of Pentacles is a very motherly figure. She loves to take care of her family. She loves to take care of her home. She usually has a very beautiful garden around the home. Okay, she's like the minor arcana of equivalent of the Empress in some cases. Okay, can be seen as that. In terms of finances, work, it can indicate financial growth or things stabilizing. It can be looking at investing, okay, with this energy. It can also talk about money coming in, or money going into what gives you stability. Okay, she's definitely a very stable energy, very cautious, because again, she thinks ahead. Okay, she plans ahead. She likes to be prepared. Let me see if I've made any additional notes for the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so with any queen being feminine energy, can talk about mother energy, being a mother, becoming a mother. But the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, I don't know why, for me personally, or the Queen of Pentacles rather, just as the main symbol for me for pregnancy. Okay, it may be because there's a little rabbit there representing fertility, but fertility is also one of the words that describes the Queen of Pentacles, whether it's in the financial realm, or with health and well-being, or actual fertility. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people look at the Queen of Pentacles as a homebody and a family person. However, she's a very shrewd businesswoman, okay? Because she budgets, she looks after her money, and again, she plans ahead, so she's prepared, okay? Queen of Wands. Now, with any Wands card, you're going to hear very fiery energy. The Queen of Wands is very confident. As a result, she's very attractive. She can be someone who is very fit, very sexy. Okay. Definitely connected to her spiritual self. That the black cat there represents her keen instincts, intuition. Again, we have development, we have growth, as with the energy of any queen. She can come up as the entrepreneur. She's the one who's not afraid to walk her own path, to stand alone. She inspires others. Okay. She's a leader that inspires, nurtures, and teaches others how to be inspired, or teaches others to value their unique gifts. Okay, what makes them special, what sets them apart from the rest. Okay, their own creativity, their own creative gifts. Okay, in terms of work situation, again, it can be a conversation about some sort of development or some sort of growth within your work situation. It can talk about things stabilizing. It can talk about being put in a position of authority, to become a leader of sorts. Okay, to inspire others. In terms of, fields of work, it can be anything to do with physical training, anything to do with fashion, with where sex appeal is involved, with beauty. Okay, hair, fashion, nails, whatever. And she is definitely an entrepreneur, so she can oftentimes have her own business or something she's very passionate about. Okay, that may even make her money. In terms of love, the Queen of Wands is very attractive, so she has a lot of suitors a lot of the time. She's very beautiful. Again, she's got a lot of sex appeal. It's very charismatic. So she can have a lot of suitors. So in terms of love life, it can be an energy that tells you either this person's interested in you, and again, it would be a fire sign, so Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or this is saying you're embodying the energy of the Queen of Wands. Look around, you have a lot of options. Or this can be, someone who likes to have fun. In terms of love, to date around, to meet different people, to have different experiences, okay, until she chooses someone for the long term, okay, if that's what she wants to do. As general advice, this is telling you, use what makes you different, use what makes you unique. It can talk about putting your best foot forward, giving yourself a little makeover, okay, being mindful of how you come across to people in terms of how you present yourself, okay, that can be very important as well. But yeah, she's very inspired. She knows what she wants. She's very confident, so she can be a little picky, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? And again, in terms of energy, it is expansion, it's growth, it's trying something different. It is liaising with different groups of people, okay? Queen of Swords. Okay, so this can be a Gemini, Libra, or an Aquarius individual. In terms of what kind of person the Queen of Swords may talk about, the Queen of Swords is someone who has been through a lot. Oftentimes with the Queen of Swords, you will hear people talk about loss, disappointment, betrayal, divorce, okay? She's the widow in the deck, or some people call her that, okay? Because she's been through a lot, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have any feelings. It just means she's learned to protect them very well. So she comes up very cold, detached. She's learned a lot of lessons. So with the Queen of Swords, you have to show her you mean what you say. Words are not going to be enough. She will give you a chance to explain yourself, to say what you have to say or whatever, but she's not afraid to use her sword, okay? She's very strong, very wise. She can, and she does, love very deeply, okay? She's a fierce protector of those she loves or what she loves. However, it does take time and work to earn her trust, because again, she's been through a lot, and she sees through most red flags, and she sees through lies, and she sees through deception, okay? She's very strong, very wise, and she's not afraid to speak her truth, okay? She can come up as representing the legal system at times, some sort of legal situation or some sort of official situation, okay, with the Queen of Cups. Again, it can talk about sometimes, representing some sort of a divorce or dispute or that sort of energy. With work, it can talk about an invitation, a conversation with an important figure. They can open a door for you, okay? They can approve or deny something, so that could also be something coming up. And it can be something in the field of information, legal. I also see swords as medical procedures, okay? Or fields where it's important to be very precise. It's about the facts, okay? Whereas, for example, cups can represent nurturers and healers. The Queen of Swords is most likely someone in a legal field or anything to do with data management or information. Very factual, okay? And then we get to the kings. First up, King of Cups. Now, kings represent the ultimate level within their suit. So the King of Cups is emotional maturity, someone who's mastered their emotions, okay? He's very much in control of them, understands their emotions. As a result, he can read other people's emotions. He can be a very good manipulator if he wanted to. He's a very good business person, which is not a lot, something you hear often with the King of Cups. A lot of people say, yeah, he's a loving person, a loving parent, protector, whatever. But he's actually a very keen business person because, I always say this, he's got the best poker face out of everyone in the deck, or definitely out of all the court cards, okay, and the kings. Why? Because he reads people. Okay, he reads people. He sees their emotions, their tells, their fears. Because again, he's mastered emotion. Okay, he's mastered it. So let's see what else. What other notes did I write down? I wanted to write down notes before I started the video so I don't forget anything. So yes, he can come up as a family man. Yes, he can come up as a very strong protector, regardless of the situation you're dealing with. Emotional maturity, we've said that. He also comes up as an intermediary, someone who puts you in touch with the right people, someone who works with people, for people, through people. In terms of a boss, again, he's someone who focuses on developing a relationship between themselves and their employees, someone who develops team spirit, very important for them, for the people in the team to feel like they're in it together and support each other. Okay, definitely a family person, very loving father, can be very strict as well. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. And of course, if it's reversed, it can talk about manipulation, someone who manipulates emotion, someone who uses his knowledge about emotion to manipulate people, can talk about alcohol-related issues and so on and so forth. But again, we'll talk about the reversals in a different video. Okay. And usually when any king comes up in a reading, they do indicate a boss, an authority figure, the higher up, and so on, okay? King of Pentacles. So again, if I didn't mention, it will be similar to the Queens, okay? So the King of Cups, in terms of field, it would be healer, HR, anything where you work with people, basically, yeah? So human resources, but also training, something with with learning and development, where you have to bring teams of people together and build some sort of team spirit and so on and so forth. Okay. King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles, what has he mastered? He's mastered stability, money, okay, abundance. Yeah, he's worked very hard to get where he is. This is the night when he reaches his goal. He's got everything he could ever want and more. It will just keep on going and keep on coming. Why? Because he stuck to the plan. He did things properly. Okay. The King of Pentacles can indicate a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. Again, in terms of work and business, it can be the boss. It can be a banker, financial advisor, a lender. Can be anyone working in real estate. Okay, investments, stock market. Okay, that sort of energy. Sometimes the King of Pentacles can show up in terms of education, as a teacher of sorts. Accountant, okay, as well. In terms of love, the King of Pentacles, again, takes his time to decide what he wants. When he's decided that he wants you, he will show you, okay? He will shower you with flowers, gifts. You will find that he always keeps his word, okay? For example, the King of Cups, he's very romantic. He's very, very good with his words, very romantic gestures. But he can sometimes kind of get lost in everything he's doing, and he cares for a lot of people, so sometimes he can be put in the middle or feel like he's pulled in a lot of different directions. So plans can change or do change quite a lot with him. Whereas the King of Pentacles, his word, okay, is something he's very proud of. He always keeps his word, okay? He always keeps his promises. You can rely on him. This is very stable energy. This is the energy of abundance. This is the energy of achievement, of fulfillment, okay? Let's see if I've made any other notes for him. Yeah, so we've talked about financial success, stability, the type of roles you might see him in. In terms of a person, he can be, because he's got such vast experience, he knows how things need to be done. He's got his particular way of doing things. He can show up as stubborn. He likes to control things because, again, he likes things done his own way. So he can come up as stubborn and difficult or resistant to change as well. Okay? Did I say about advice? I don't know. So in terms of advice, the King of Pentacles is asking us to be strategic and to use all our resources, okay? Use everything that we have at our disposal to make strategic decisions, to think ahead, to come up with a solid plan. If we're about to speak to someone, request something, or apply for something, crunch the numbers, okay? Very important. Be prepared and have detail ready, okay? The King of Wands. Fire sign energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius can be. Sometimes what you're going to hear with the King of Wands is he's the married man. I've read it in several books. I have seen it come up in readings. Not sure why in particular the King of Wands would come up as the married man and not any other king, but I'm still researching it, okay? For the purpose of the basics of tarot here. Fire sign, this is an entrepreneur, okay? This is someone who has achieved the highest level of whatever it is that he is invested in, okay? Because he's the King of Wands and he likes to do different things and to stand out, it really can be anything. But most likely than not, he is an entrepreneur. He has his own business. Or he's in a position where he has freedom and authority to do things the way he wants to do things. He is someone who inspires, okay? He is someone who, the type of leader or the type of manager that is very creative. Again, he inspires his team. Morale is important to him, okay, to keep everyone's morale up. He knows that's important. He's a fierce protector of his people, whether that is his family or his team or co-workers or whatever, okay? In terms of love life, again, the King of Wands, as all kings, their energy is stable. So if they have set their eye on you, you can trust it, okay? You can trust that they're coming. They're coming in, they're coming for you, as it were. He can be very charismatic, very attractive. There's just something different about him, okay? There's just something different about him. That's how he definitely just stands out, okay? He just stays on your mind. You can't quite stop thinking about him, okay? Is the energy of the King of Wands here. And again, can be very romantic. Again, all about spontaneity, all about doing things differently, going to see different things, different places, have different experiences. Fun is important, okay? Status can be important to the King of Wands. Having people's admiration can be important to the King of Wands, okay? Having people look up to him can be important to him. Okay, in terms of advice, again, this is asking us to take charge, to take control, to be different, okay? To innovate, to stand out from the crowd, all right? To take a different path than everyone else is taking. It's all about unique energy. It's all about being different, doing things differently, trying a different approach, doing something you didn't do before, you haven't tried before, okay? Keeping an open mind, thinking outside the box, okay? Definitely a good businessman because he's got a lot of different ideas, all right? It's just a matter of deciding which ones he's going to act on. And the King of Swords. This is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You'll find the King of Swords in fields that have to do with legal, law, it's not the same thing, military, surgeons, okay, experts in their field, okay? They have the facts, they have the knowledge, no matter what it's about. They have the facts, they have the knowledge. If you go to this person, listen to what they have to say because they know their stuff, they know what they're saying, okay? So in terms of advice, it can be an energy where you're asked to speak to an expert, or you're asked to speak to someone who's done this, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Someone who has the experience, someone who has the information, someone who can point you in the right direction, okay? And when the King of Swords speaks to you and gives you advice, listen, okay? Because it is very pertinent information, okay? In terms of love, it's the same thing, okay? The King of Swords can oftentimes seem detached. However, a little similar to the Queen of Swords, he takes his time to really decide if he wants to commit to someone. He's very charismatic, very chatty, okay? He likes to have a lot of friends. He likes to talk to a lot of different people, so he can come up as flirtatious at times. But he keeps himself to himself until he decides who he's going to commit to. Once he decides that he is a fierce protector of that person in that relationship or family, he is honest, okay? He starts to open up and even be a little vulnerable, okay? But from the outside looking in, he can seem cold, he can seem detached, he can I don't know, something caught my eye in the card and I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, it does talk about decisions, decision making, and if things are complicated, either speak to an expert or just get down to the facts, to the bottom of things, to the truth of things, and your decision will be a lot easier. And let me see if I have anything else for him. So yeah, he will always be honest, he will always be direct, very factual, calculated, strategic, and fair, okay? And again, it can indicate any sort of legal situation, judges, lawyers, that sort of situation. But when the King of Swords shows up, it usually says, it's a little bit like the Justice card, it usually says that whatever the judgment will be, it will be fair, okay? He seeks to be fair, he seeks to do the right thing, he seeks to take all the information in before making the best decision, okay? The most logical, the most fair, judgment. All right. So yeah, if it's, in terms of advice and that, again, it's telling you do your research, be direct, stick to the facts, be fair, okay? Or speak to an expert, okay? It can be a lot of different things. But for the purpose of the basics, okay, I think we have covered the basics, okay, unless I forgot anything. Yeah, that's our court cards. All right, and in my next few videos I will be covering each suit, doing a bit of a walkthrough of each suit, talking about each card. And I really wanted to do the court cards video first so that I don't have to spend too much time developing each page in Knight and Queen and King as I get to them and going through each suit, okay, if that makes sense. I will still talk about the cards and describe them, but I will encourage people to watch the court card video for more detail, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you find it useful if you're studying tarot, if you're just getting started, and not just that, okay? Sometimes going back to the basics, even though you're a seasoned reader, you still learn something. you just never stop learning when it comes to anything, but tarot in particular, okay? So I really hope that you find this useful. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have questions. And stay tuned for more videos, okay? Thank you all very much for your wonderful support. I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye for now.